Good evening, everybody. I'd like to welcome to the Town of Essex Committee of Adjustment. I'm going to call the meeting to order. I am the acting chairperson of the Committee of Adjustment today. My name is Danny Sauve, and to my right, I have Marcia, our our planning clerk, and we got our committee member, Bill Baker, our other committee member, Matthew Childs, and on my left here, we have Doreen. Okay, so all the items on the agenda must be acknowledged by me prior to any discussion, presentation, or decision. When I acknowledge you to speak, you can address me as Mr. Chair. Please be advised all proceedings and decisions of this committee are undertaken without bias or conflict of interest. Any conflict of interest for members of the committee will be declared at the beginning of the meeting or prior to an application being heard. Do I have any conflict of interest from anybody? No? Okay. All members of the audience wishing to speak will be able to do so when acknowledged by myself in accordance with the published agenda. Each person is allowed 5 minutes. When invited to speak, please approach the podium there in the back of the room. Turn on the microphone by pressing the button. Wait a second for the microphone to turn on. It will have a little blue light and you can go ahead and speak. We ask all in attendance to be respectful, only speak to the application at hand. Any topics that deviate from the application will not be considered or tolerated. Please note this meeting is being live streamed to the town's YouTube page. Okay, we're going to do the land acknowledgement. We acknowledge that this land is the traditional territory of the Three Fires Confederacy of First Nations, comprised of the Ojibwe, the Ottawa, and the Potawatomi peoples, if I said that correctly, and of the Huron-Wendat peoples. We value the significant historical and contemporary contributions of local and regional First Nations and all of the original peoples of Turtle Island who have been living and working on the land from time immemorial. This is a closed meeting. We're going to go to Marcia, planning clerk, for a closed meeting report.
Through you, Chair, the Committee of Adjustment met in closed session on March 18th, 2025 at 5 p.m. to receive procedural training as permitted to do so pursuant to Section 239, 3.1 of the Municipal Act. And this is the extent of my report.
Okay, very good. I already did the declaration of conflict of interest. Nobody says. We're going to move on to the adoption of published agenda. Committee of Adjustment meeting agenda for April 15th, 2025. Move by Bill. Do I have a seconder? Doreen? All in favor? Okay, very good. Noted. Okay, so I say that is now adopted. Moving on to number 6, adoption of the minutes. Committee of Adjustment minutes for February 19th, 2025. Do I get a mover? Bill? Seconder? Doreen? All in favor? Oh, sorry, Matthew? Go ahead. Okay. Reports from administration application. We're going to go to 7.1, A-04-25, 671 Ambassador Beach Road. Kathy Marie Panuski. Trustee is care of Ronald Panuski. Do I get a... That's after, sorry. Okay. This will be for discussion. For Ian, go ahead.
Thank you, Chair. Our first application tonight is minor variance application A0425. 671 Ambassador Beach Road, former Colchester South. The subject property is designated Lakefront Residential in the Town of Essex Official Plan and is zoned Residential District 1.1 in the Town of Essex zoning bylaw. The next slide, please. The subject property had accommodated a single unit dwelling and accessory structure. However, the single unit dwelling, circled in red here, was structurally damaged from overland stormwater flows as a result of a flooding event back in 2023. This structure has since been removed and the portion of that land remains vacant, and the accessory structure is still there today. Next slide, please. The subject property accommodates the Langlois Arner Drain Outlet. I apologize if I'm mispronouncing it. A covered municipal drain that obtains and directs stormwater runoff from various points within the town of Essex and outlets into Lake Erie. Here you can see where the previous dwelling was removed at the south of the property, and you can see the current drain cutting across the property in green. However, as a result of drainage works to this, the Langlois Arner drain, a new outlet is being constructed on the subject property. The new drain will be constructed along the eastern property line and would require the demolition and/or relocation of the existing accessory structure. Next slide, please. Now, Section 10.6D2 of the zoning bylaw details that a structure requires a setback of 6 meters, which is 20 feet, from a covered municipal drain as detailed within the Town of Essex zoning bylaw. So the applicant is requesting that this setback be reduced to 2.1 meters, or 6.9 feet, from the covered drain to ensure a buildable footprint is available for the subject property following the installation of the covered drain. Next slide, please. So here we have the applicant's site plan, which details the property line in black, which I have enhanced, and a red shaded area detailing the location of the drain along the east of the property and its associated working corridor. This corridor is used to access the drain in terms of maintenance, repairs, and so on. And on this site plan, you'll notice a dashed red line above the working corridor. This dashed red line represents the original setback of 6 meters. Now, the applicant is requesting to reduce that down to 2.1 meters so that a viable footprint is available if and when they go to construct on this property. Right now, there are no development plans at this time. Next slide, please. Excuse me. So here we just have some images of the subject property. You can see the accessory structure on the left, and then you can see the lake all the way out in the back, and then you can see the structures on the neighboring property as well. Next slide, please. Here we have some additional images of it. The image on the left is where the original single unit dwelling stood, but has since been demolished. And then the image on the right is just from the rear of the property on, where you can see the entrance to the property and the accessory structure. Next slide, please. So here we have the consideration of the 6 tests for a minor variance. And with it, the application satisfies these criteria. Both the county official plan and the town of Essex official plan do not contain policy direction or buffering provisions for the construction of dwellings or other structures adjacent to drains or municipal drains. And the drain is not considered a hazard. And right now, the applicant is not requesting to increase the density on the site, propose a change in use, and just wants to use the site as it historically was, as low-density residential. The intent of the zoning bylaw is maintained as the reasoning for this setback from a covered municipal drain is to ensure a viable working corridor is maintained to allow drainage works to be completed when necessary, and to ensure the drain is not damaged by the existence or construction of any other type of building or structure. The 6-meter setback is a blanket provision across the entirety of the town of Essex to ensure this intent is maintained. However, the applicant has been working alongside the drainage superintendent to identify an appropriate setback to ensure a working corridor is both available and to ensure there's no risk to the drain or any future development adjacent to the drain. We see the proposal as minor, as there's no impacts to either the drain or dwelling. and the applicant will be required to abide by any remaining zoning regulations, such as side yard, front yard setback, that are prescribed within the R1.1 zoning district. And the applicant will also require additional approvals from the Essex Region Conservation Authority to address any potential setbacks from hazards or flooding mitigation measures. We've deemed this desirable as well, as it provides a suitable building footprint for the construction of a dwelling, whereas one would not be available due to the location of the drain along the eastern property line. We see no impacts to traffic and parking, as they will need to provide on-site parking if and when a dwelling is constructed, and it maintains the character of the neighborhood being low-density residential. And lastly, we see this as necessary to provide that building footprint. Next slide, please. So the application was circulated to all internal and external agencies. The County of Essex the Essex Region Conservation Authority detailed that they have no objections, and the Ministry of Transportation also did not provide any objection. The drainage superintendent has expressed support and stated that the drainage works proposed through this property have yet to be finalized and are still subject to the Drainage Act. And this process includes things such as appeals. However, in consultation with the appointed drainage engineer for this project, we do not believe there are any concerns with the reduction in the setback. No further comments were provided from any internal departments, and no comments were provided from the public at this time. And from here, the planning department is recommending approval with no conditions. Last slide. And here, just want to remind the committee of the decisions they can make tonight. The committee may approve the application with or without conditions, defer the application for more information, or deny the application. If you defer or deny the application, you are required to state the reasoning. And lastly, I would like to remind the committee and members of the public that are here tonight that we are here to discuss the minor variance application as it's proposed. Any questions or comments regarding the construction of or the use of the drain should be directed to the drainage department, and questions and comments regarding any nearby developments should be directed to the planning department. Thank you.
Dean, do we have any questions or comments from the committee members or from the public? Ron, can you hear us?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. Ian's summary was complete and accurate, and really appreciate it. We've been working, relative to the improvement to the drain and the realignment for many months, and have been working very well with Ian in the planning department and Lindsay Dean in the drainage department, as well as Peralta Engineering, and Oliver Moore at Dillon Consulting. So basically, been working many months. We're in agreement. We have really no further comments. Just would like to thank everybody that's been working with us for the last many months to get this done. So would appreciate the committee's concurrence and approval of the variance request. Thank you.
Thank you, Ron. Any questions from the committee members? Go ahead, Bill.
Mr. Chair, just a question to administration, and maybe a follow-up to the proponent. Is this drainage work being required by the town, or is this being required by the proponent himself?
It's not being required by me, but Ian, I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt, but go ahead. But not me, but I think a lot of it has to do with increasing the outflow capacity of the drain itself, as well as the impending Colchester Heights subdivision.
To that, if I may, so what you're saying is then you are actually, this is your effort to improve the drain on your own behalf. Is that correct?
Really, the effort here is just while the town is working to improve the drain, is to get a location that is acceptable and a work zone that's acceptable to allow for a buildable lot.
I'm just trying to establish that you're in favor of this. This is your own doing, and the town is not forcing you to do this. Is that correct?
No, no, we're in agreement. Like I said, we've been working with the town for many months to come up with something that I think works for everybody.
That answers it.
Questions? Go ahead, Matthew.
You, Mr. Chair, thanks. And I appreciate the report and in particular the drainage super's concurrence with the proposal. That's helpful. I did have a question about the history of flooding on the site. Ian in the report speaks to an event in August of 2023, the removal of a structure. And I just want to confirm that the design of the proposed new alignment, and I think there's a couple of catch basins incorporated in the design, that is expected to sort of mitigate or address the possibility of additional overland flooding on that property. Can you comment on that, Ian, or others?
So through you, Mr. Chair, that would be something that would be accommodated through the drainage process itself, not through us here in planning. And with it, any potential hazards that this site may face, whether it's flooding or being too close to the lake itself, IRCA would also be involved with any approvals for any construction. So they would have to essentially give clearance or permission to construct as well. So they would also be involved in any discussion.
Questions? Good. All right. I have a question. Ian, could you go back to the slide there where it shows the proposed drainage works? I guess my only concern would be is the drainage is going to be taking to the westerly side of the property. Do I see that correct?
The drainage is, I think, to the easterly side.
Yeah, so it's going to be closer to the house, the existing home.
There is no existing home on the lot, and the red shaded area, I think, as Ian indicated, would go through the existing accessory structure, the garage.
And you're okay with the running line of this project?
Yes.
Obviously. Okay. Then I have no further questions. If we have no more questions, do we have a mover? Bill, do I have sorry? Oh, anybody from the public? Sorry. No. Oh, we have somebody. Okay, go on. I'm sorry. Can you state your name, sir? All right. Thank you.
My name is Tom Reeville. I'm a property owner with my wife, Deirdre, at 659 Ambassador Beach, which is 2 properties over from Ron's and Kathy's. And the flooding that we talk about, their house was particularly damaged by that flood in 20. And ours was the second most damaged property, with substantial costs involved in actually remedying the undermining a portion of our house and loss of a couple of accessory buildings. So we're very much in favor of this drain. We've attended a number of the meetings with council, and we're hoping for a speedy approval of and the construction of this drain. We had some concerns over the residential development, but since that's a done deal, we're quite hoping that this whole thing will accelerate. We don't want another damaging flood. We're more concerned about overland flooding, and Ron is not trying to impede anything. He is really wants this improvement done, as do all the residents down in that area. We had about 2.5 feet of water on our road, and the washout caused considerable damage. This was the third flooding event that caused damage without loss of entire buildings, but really destroyed the beach and required expensive repairing of roads and lanes and so forth. So the drain is very much wanted, And it sounds to me, after listening to Dylan's report and the engineer's reports, that this drain should really improve things a lot for all of us down there on Ambassador Beach. Thank you.
So if I have no further questions from the public or anybody? Bill, you have another question? Sorry?
No, I would,
Okay.
move,
Do we have a mover then?
make a
Bill
motion to
moves.
move the application with the addressed conditions.
Okay. Seconder, Doreen? All in favor? Motion carried. Done. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks, Ron.
I can disconnect now?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Okay, we're going to move on to number 7. B-05-25, 0 Baggett Street, Zacharias Braga. Go ahead, Ian.
Thank you, Chair. Our next and last application tonight is, as you said, B0525 for the vacant residential lands located on the western side of Baggett Street, just north of the intersection of County Road 50 in the hamlet of Colchester. The subject property is designated Main Street area in the Colchester Hamlet Guide Plan and is zoned Residential District 1.1. The applicant is proposing to sever the lands into two 335 square meter parcels for the purpose of constructing a semi-detached dwelling, being a building separated vertically into 2 dwelling units by a common interior wall, each having its own separate entrance at street level and separate servicing hookups. Next slide, please. So here we have the applicant site plan detailing the semi-detached dwelling. All right, next slide, please. Here we have some elevation drawings provided by the applicant as well. And then last slide as well. We have the renderings of the semi-detached dwelling. All right, and here we just have an image of the vacant property. Not too much to show here. There's nothing existing at this time. Next slide. So the property was subject to a previous consent application in 2018, where the property was severed from the abutting property to the south, municipally known as 42 County Road 50 West. The file number for the previous application is B2918, and the purpose was the creation of a residential building lot. No conflicts with the proposed severance we see here today with the severance seen in the past. Next slide, please. Now, for the policies that were considered for the consent application, the proposed consent application is supportive of the provincial planning statement as it promotes a range of housing types, such as a freehold semi-detached dwelling unit within an area of settlement. Furthermore, this development provides a compact form of housing to target current economic needs and is considered an efficient use of resources and available infrastructure. The proposed consent application supports the County of Essex official plan as it promotes infilling development and provides a range of housing types through lot creation. Like I said, to provide 2 freehold semi-detached dwelling units. The subject property is in the secondary settlement area, which permits residential intensification on full municipal services while maintaining its historical development pattern. The Colchester Hamlet Guidelines promotes more compact and higher density development to encourage more efficient use of existing services and infrastructure. However, low density residential uses such as a semi-detached dwelling and single unit dwellings are not detailed as permitted uses within the Main Street area, as it is more geared towards mixed use residential and commercial uses. However, the Town of Essex zoning bylaw permits semi-detached dwelling units within the residential 1.1 zone, and the proposed dwelling abides by the required lot and building regulations for semi-detached dwellings. The proposed lot creation abides by the minimum lot area requirements, lot width requirements, lot coverage being 50%, and all other zoning regulations are maintained. Next slide, please. So we circulated the application to all internal and external agencies. Both the Essex Region Conservation Authority and Ministry of Transportation expressed no objections at this time. And Infrastructure Services has advised that there is a sanitary sewer and water main fronting the property, and that new services could be provided from these. However, based on their review of past drawings, no servicing hookups were provided to this lot in the past. No concerns otherwise. Now, the application was circulated to all property owners within 60 meters, and no comments were received from the public at this time either. Next slide, please. Excuse me. Now, the planning department is recommending approval subject to the following conditions. These are standard conditions, such as your new survey, draft transfers, confirmation on property taxes, and drain apportionments. However, one unique condition for this application being that the applicant obtain a building permit for the foundation wall to finish grade be issued. The applicant has 2 years to fulfill all these conditions. Now, in the past, we have seen conditions requiring that the applicant pay things such as parkland, development charges, provide separate water and sanitary hookups, and a separate access when all of these conditions were usually seen when constructing a semi-detached dwelling. However, these are all items that are now encountered at the building counter themselves. So with that being the next step from this, the building department acquires these fees or prescribes those hookups as necessary. Next slide, please. So here, just want to remind the committee of the decisions they can make tonight. They can approve the application with or without conditions, or they can defer or deny the application. However, they must state their reasoning. And that is all from me, Chair. Thank you.
Do we have anything from the applicant? Anything from the public? You go ahead, state your name and head to the podium, hit the blue button.
Hi, my name is Trevor Kolchiski. I live, my property is right behind the applicant's property. I'm not necessarily opposed to what he's asking for, but I had a couple concerns where it wasn't totally clear to me how many units they're going to be. Is it going to be a rental? Is there going to be 4 units, 2 units? Drainage. My lot is quite long. I know my neighbor behind him when it's a fairly new house and it's quite high. So his runoff already comes into my yard. Parking, stuff like that. So I don't know if Zach would be able to answer some of those questions or yourself would be able to answer.
Okay. Ian, would you be able to? You hit your button there, Trevor. Thank you.
Okay. So through you, Mr. Chair, I can answer some of those questions. With it, in terms of what the applicant is proposing, he's proposing a semi-detached dwelling on either side. So they're 2 standalone freehold units. And in his drawings, I believe there are also plans for additional dwelling units in them. So that would be 2 dwelling units on one property, 2 dwelling units on the other. However, with the subject zoning of the property being residential 1.1, he's permitted to have 3 dwelling units on either property. So the max could be 6. However, when that's the case, he would still have to provide things such as parking for each dwelling unit. With it, in terms of stormwater runoff, the applicant is required to maintain all of their own stormwater runoff, and that is typically handled through the building permit phase when they review their drawings, and he would have to outlet that water accordingly. All right. Thank you.
So can you also tell me what the spacing is between where my property line would be and the back of his house?
Through you, Chair, I believe we're going to pull up the as a visual aid as well. But with it, the applicant is required to be 25 feet or 7.5 meters from the rear property line. So you can see that here with it. Unfortunately, it's a little difficult to see on the screens here, but yeah, he is required to be 25 feet from it. Yeah, and with it, if and the applicant is not requesting to reduce that setback in any way. Thank you.
My only other request would be that a fence be built sooner rather than later with
that would be up to the applicant to provide that, and we can ask the applicant. Go ahead, Ian.
Through you, Mr. Chair, it is up to the committee if they would like to discuss that as a condition or pose that to the applicant. It could be added as a condition if you do see that it is reasonable. Right. Thank you.
Go ahead, repeat that condition that would be then.
The condition, the wording could be finalized a little more clearly, but it's you could discuss that the applicant install a fence at the rear of the property if you see that that is a reasonable condition for this development.
Okay, then I'll ask the committee for any comments. Go ahead, Doreen.
Bring up that photo again, I'm sorry, of the development. So just to be clear, there's only one of these structures being built, is that correct? Through you, Mr. Chair, I'm sorry. And it's being constructed, and the severance will actually take place because of the center line on it. So one half will be on one and one half will be on the other. That is correct? Okay. I just wanted to make sure he wasn't coming back for further plot control to avoid a subdivision, that's all. Thank you.
Have any further comments from any other members? No? Okay, do I have a motion? Doreen is the first. Moved by Doreen.
Motion to approve as recommended by the municipality,
I have a
with
seconder.
conditions recommended by the municipality, sorry.
A seconder with clarification on what's being proposed, because we had a discussion relative to conditions. Has that changed, or is that what is being proposed?
I'm only proposing the conditions that were written in Mr. Rawlings' report, not the proposed ones that were discussed.
No.
All in favor? Application's approved. Do I have, what's this one here? I got a mover for the presentation entitled Committee of Adjustment, April 15th, 2025, regular meeting presented by administration be received. Doreen, I have a seconder. Matthew? All in favor? Thank you. So I get an adjournment. Moved by Doreen, second by Matt. All in favor? Meeting adjourned.